There we finally go. Okay, so we had some hiccups earlier. Recorded an entire episode without audio, actually. So when I said authentic writer's advice, I wasn't kidding. This is maybe some brand of the authenticity. We're just being real here. We're gonna do and talk about today, and I emphasize the I, because that's you. You know, plug yourself in there. That's you right now having an idea, having some kind of plan or some kind of just some desire in you to write, and you don't know where to start, and it's really confusing. So right off the bat, I'm gonna just give something to you: how to write a book in 30 days. It's 10 parts, 24 pages. It's not skimmed on, okay? Just trust me on that. You can get it at writingalong.com, and it's just everything you need to get started if you want to write a book in a reasonable time span, and not in decades or some ridiculous amount of time, but 30 days if you really applied yourself. You can go ahead and grab that. It's completely free. Highly recommended. And like I said, the topic today is really just how do I start writing? First, you want to know what you're writing, and that could be a novel, it could be a short story collection, it could be poetry. There's so many things it could be, and you yourself need to define that. No one else will define it for you, so better get to that. How do I do that? How do you do that? Just find out what excites you the most. You know, what really is the thing that you could be doing right now that would inspire you, that would keep you motivated, keep you interested. Now, this will vary person by person. In this case, let's say it's a novel. Don't try to do 5 things at once. Don't try to write 5 novels at once. Pick one idea. Give yourself the benefit of the doubt here. If you do one, you can proceed to the next and see it as an advantage. People I'll probably do a video on this on its own separately, so you can look forward to that. But you don't want to worry about having too much ideas. If anything, that should come to you as something pleasant, something wonderful. You don't have to have fear of what do I write about next. Use this overload for the future. It's going to take you you're going to go a long way with that. And take your best idea, take the one that's most relatable to you right now, the one that you can talk to someone about for hours. Forget writing right now. How can you talk about it? Do you get excited about it? What really motivates you behind it? Something that has a discussion in it, and you're going to utilize that discourse, that conversation with others, with yourself, to really pivot yourself into turning those words onto the page. That's all it takes. You got to be a little excited about it. You got to have some enthusiasm for it, some reasoning, and then again, the precedent before that is having your direction. Where do you want to aim it? And once you know where you're aiming it, have your sense of enthusiasm and let that light you the entire way. When you approach a blank page, just have that in mind. It's not something you're forced to do. If you write a book, stop. If someone's telling you you have to write a novel and you don't want to, don't do it. I'm serious. If you're assign this for a class or something, don't waste your time. Drop the class. Forget whoever's telling you how to do that. You're going to make yourself miserable. And writing is not miserable. A lot of the things around it, I mean, just mentally or for some people, you know, it can be really, really challenging, the things that even drive you to write. That's not the question right now. But the actual process of getting your words out, it's actually quite fun. It's actually quite fulfilling. Ignore the portrayals. You probably know this already, but ignore every single portrayal you see on television and film. They always portray writers as these just very miserable people, and like even when and it's just incorrect. It's just dramatized for the screen, and it's not that it's harmful. I mean, it's entertaining to watch and see for some people, but don't take that to heart, or you're going to be stuck in this kind of false world for longer than you really need to be if you just realize that it's false to begin with. You're not just going to be slaving and away and hoping for the best and just hoping for some scraps of inspiration to fall on you. It doesn't work like that. Okay, it's a completely different way. when you really get started writing and you come from a real, authentic place. It's nothing like that. I do have to dedicate a lot of time to that because so many of us are exposed to that kind of content. We're exposed to that kind of entertainment because it sells, and it's just not the truth. Okay, it's way easier than you think when you're driven by this enthusiasm. And how would I start staring at a blank page? Where do I begin? What am I writing about? You're going to want to internalize some things. What am I trying to do here? Am I trying to create a world? Am I inspired by something? Am I trying to recreate that on my own? And once you have those kinds of, it's not really a list. You could list things out, but it's more just a deep understanding you have with yourself. Learning to write, and again, learning from writers, and it's something that it's not meant to put a strain on your soul when you're doing it. It's going to be easy when you learn to think like a writer, you learn to live like a writer and see the world in these ways. And one of the things I can teach you right off the bat is just make it a conversation. Make it don't strive for elegance. The elegance comes from the simplicity of your own brain, understanding the wholeness, understanding the directive, and the very reason you're there in front of these pages. If you're watching, feel free to add any comments. I can answer any questions about this as well. I am completely available for questions. If not, okay, I'm going to continue here then. And I'll challenge you today, just get a page done, right? Open a Word document or Google Docs, whatever you want. It could just be a notebook page. A sticky note, right? You can write in font 775 if you want. I don't care. Just get the accomplishment done of a full-length page. And you're going to feel something after that. You're going to feel a sense of accomplishment, tiny accomplishment. It's not a whole novel, but you're going to get a feel for what it's like to look at a page and be like, oh, I did that. I produced that. And it's not something you can always share with people. That's what's really discouraging for a lot of people as well, is who do I engage this with? Who do I share this victory with? Who's going to care that I finished the page? I can tell people and they'll be like, oh, okay, cool. But that's not very, it doesn't keep you going. What keeps you going is kind of acknowledging that win, acknowledging that tiny accomplishment for yourself. And then it becomes less of a small thing when you realize how much it actually impacts and influences the way you think. It just means if I get 10 pages, it's like you're multiplying your excitement to continue going. It's momentum, but it's also more than that, if you're following. There is another layer to it. It's almost conditioning your brain consciously. You're not looking for the top 10 psychological tips to trick your brain into writing. It's more nuanced and natural than that. I just really want you to understand that it's not a science. Okay, there is no. And the reason it's not is because what the essence of science is something that you can quantify and measure every step along the process and produce predictable results. It's just not like that because not everything can essentially be measured with writing. You're going to feel certain things. You're going to tap into certain things that should excite you, that should inspire a sense of wonder in you, and cannot be, in a sense, measured or articulated. You're just going to feel them, and you're going to come back and watch this, and you're going to realize, oh, this is what he was talking about. I don't know how to put it into words, ironically, right? You're going to sense of being surround you. And how do I start writing? Get excited about it, first of all, okay? If you skip to the end of the video, cool. If you're watching it live, you're getting it now, right? So, one, get excited about it. Pick an idea. Pick a direction. Short story, novel, poetry collection, essay maybe. You're writing an essay, okay? And you're already 2 steps in. That's a hell of a long way to begin. 0% to, I don't know, like 5% of the way there. That's a huge change because you went from nothing to something. And that's what a lot of writing is. How do I get started? Understand that you are producing something from blank pages. And when you see it happen, even at a very small scale, you're going to comprehend that at another level. You're going to realize, I just created something. And it redeems back. It's reciprocating me some kind of feeling to continue going. Some kind of deeper understanding that accompanies it. And that's how you get started writing. That's how do you start writing? You look at it that way. You look at it like I'm creating. I'm a life that didn't exist before. And if you watch the upcoming videos, we'll talk about it. You don't need to, if you check out this guide too, like I said, you're going to find in there, you don't need to have the most original idea in the world. In fact, harm yourself in the long run. And you can learn why in that guide. There's just too much to cover in these 10 minutes. So I'll tomorrow, like I said, come tune in and ask any questions. I'll have a topic for tomorrow in the description, and I'll be here at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. All right, I'll see you, and let's get writing. Like I said, check out the website and grab your copy. I know you're going to enjoy it.